Welcome back to my factoring series. In this video, we're going to look at these three problems. So if your homework problem looks something like one of those, you might want to jump to that part of the video. But otherwise, these three have something in common, and that is that they all have a greatest common factor. So that's the very first thing we look for when we're doing problems like this. In this first one, what is the greatest common factor of 18, 3, and 3? Well, of course, it's going to be 3. Let's take a 3 out, and then let's see what we're left with. When I do this, 18 divided by 3, of course, is 6x squared. Negative 3x divided by 3 is just negative x. And same thing here, this is going to be a negative 1. All right, so once I have this, 6x squared minus x minus 1, this is one where my a term is not going to be a 1, and so therefore I'm probably going to have to multiply my a times my c, see what two numbers multiply to be that number, and also add to be my b term. If that sounds too confusing, I use a little graphic organizer to help me out. I put my a times c on top, and then my b term on the bottom. I need two numbers that multiply to be the top one and add to be the bottom. So what do I mean by that? 6 times negative 1, a times c is going to be negative 6. And then negative 1, just the coefficient, we're not using any of the x's, goes on the bottom. What multiplies to be negative 6 and adds to be negative 1? I think 3 and 2, and specifically, it looks like I'm going to have the 3 be negative. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. What do I do with that is I split my b term. Again, this is a, b, c. If I split the b term, I'm going to say this is now negative 3x and positive 2x. That's the same thing, right? Negative x is the same as those two added together. And then these two come down, 6x squared minus 1. All right, I'm going to save that 3 here for later, but I have to factor this one by grouping, so I'm going to take out what I can out of both those groups, and I should be left over with the same thing, meaning that in this first group, I'm going to take out a 3x, and that leaves me with 2x minus 1. Over here, I already have a 2x minus 1, so I just have to take out a positive 1. All right, if I were to divide by positive 1, I'm left with the same thing. As long as those match up, you did it right. So this is going to be, for my answer, I'm going to have a 3x plus 1, and a 2x minus 1. And then don't forget about your 3 that comes in front, and all together, that is your correct answer. All right, let's look at the second one here. Remember, all these have a GCF today. What is the greatest common factor of this? Well, I'm seeing they all have an x, and additionally, these are also all divisible by 9. All right, so let's take out a 9x. And when I do that, 9x to the third divided by 9x is just x squared. 63 divided by 9 is 7. And then 90x divided by 9x is 10. So plus 10 like that. All right, this is one that starts with a 1, so we're going to do our same graphic organizer thing. A times c is going to be 10, and my b term is 7. What two numbers multiply to be 10 and add to be 7? I think 5 and 2. I know 5 and 2. All right, and then because this is a 1, I can just plop those numbers in. As long as I put x's in front, I can say plus 5, plus 2, and then don't forget your 9x in front, all right? Especially if this thing equaled 0, I'd have to set not only my two factors equal to 0, but also the 9x. So this isn't a solving by factoring video, but this is just to get you going with the factoring. That's going to be your next section. If you're on this section, you're probably going to solve in the next one. Okay, this one here, this last one here, this only has 2 terms, and it is a subtraction in the middle, so I might be thinking difference of squares, especially with the 4 and 36. However, currently this x isn't helping me out, so I got to take something out of this. And even though 4 and 36 are both perfect squares, I can actually take out a 4x. 36 is also divisible by 4. So let's try it. Let's take out 4x, leaving me with x squared minus, and 36 divided by 4 is 9. And of course, x divided by x is, it's going to cancel. So yeah, it does look like I'm left with a difference of squares, x squared plus 9. And if you remember how to do that, I'm going to have my 4x in front, and then I'm going to take the square root of both of those. Square root of x squared is x. That goes first. Square root of 9 is 3. That goes second. And then what goes in the middle? A plus and a minus. All right, a plus and a minus. So together, that is my answer for that one. That's how you factor when you have a GCF. You put it kind of out front, and then you factor the other part like normal. Hopefully that helps you out. Until next time, keep doing your math homework fast and accurately.